Pope Benedict has been attending an Orthodox Christian service in Istanbul today on the last leg of his tour of Turkey. The Mass is being seen as significant as the Pope seeks to heal a 1,000-year-old rift between the Catholic and Orthodox churches. He's due to visit the city's famous Blue Mosque later. Only the second time in history the head of the Catholic Church has visited a Muslim place of worship. Well, I'm joined now by my colleague in Istanbul, Simon McCoy. Simon, what a backdrop you've got behind you.
Fabulous, isn't it? Yes, and as you say, he will become the second Pope ever only to visit a mosque, and that is the location. It's the Sultan Ahmet Mosque, better known as the Blue Mosque, and he's scheduled to arrive there in a few hours' time. It was a sort of last-minute item on the itinerary, very much underlining what you've been talking about, this need to build bridges, which the Pope is very keen to do. Before he goes there to the Blue Mosque, he's going to be travelling just a few hundred yards away to this, the Hagia Sophia, which for 1,000 years was the largest Christian church in Christendom. Hugely symbolic building, and particularly as it was later turned into a mosque when the Turks invaded. So there'll be a lot of issues when the Pope enters there. It's now a museum, underlining of course that Turkey is now a secular state, but a lot of people will be watching and analysing what he does when he's inside, because if he makes any sort of Christian prayer inside that building, there are those that will be extremely upset about that. So as ever, this is proving out to be a rather controversial tour. I just want to talk to Burak Sansal, who's a tour guide. You've lived in this city all your life. A Muslim. Were you greatly offended by what he had to say back in September?
Yes, like all other Muslims, I was also offended from what he said, what he quoted actually. And like all others, we expected a simple apology from the Pope.
You haven't had an apology, but he has come here and he's asked to have understanding and a dialogue. Is that what you wanted to hear?
That's right. It's not just coming here, but he also showing a great respect to the Turkish people, to the Islam, you know, visiting the Blue Mosque and other important sites in Turkey. So we might accept this as an apology, I think. You know, he's trying to build bridges, yeah.
That's the one issue. The other issue is European Union membership. The Pope, when he was cardinal, was against it. Do you feel that he's healed that rift as well?
I think now he's on the political side. You know, he's learning politics. Before he didn't want Turks to join the EU, but now he's on our side. That's also will help to understand each other better, you know.
When you go out in the evening and you talk to your friends, I mean, how big an issue is European Union membership for you?
For the young people, it's very important. You know, it will be Turkey's future probably. But in the last years, the support for the joining EU is dropping a little bit because of these new issues coming up from the European community.
But having the Pope here, having the eyes of the rest of Europe on Turkey, that's not a bad thing.
Sure, of course, that's not a bad thing. Actually, that's a good thing for the people, for the Western world, to understand better the Muslim world.
Burak, thank you very much indeed for joining us. He's scheduled to get here in the next few hours, and 3,000 journalists have travelled from around the world to follow the Pope here on what initially was going to be a controversial tour at best. Many saw it as downright risky, but so far so good in the eyes of the Vatican, and no demonstrations to speak of so far today. George.
Simon, your guest there, clearly, if he represents the Turkish population, generally very pleased pretty much with the Pope's visit. I guess, therefore, the Vatican's going to be quite, will be quite satisfied by all of this.
Oh, more than satisfied, I would imagine. I mean, we won't be able to judge until tomorrow, perhaps a little later on than that, but it's going as well as it could have done, and particularly because, let's be honest, the Pope has tackled head-on the issues which everybody said were a problem for him before he arrived. He's tackled the issue of what he had to say about the Muslims. He was quoting a Byzantine emperor, and that has residents standing outside this building here. Well, he said we need dialogue, so he feels that he's dealt with that. He's dealt with the European Union issue. He told the Prime Minister on his arrival that he was going to broadly support European Union membership, although he couldn't get into politics, so he's dealt with that. And what the Vatican really wanted to address was this issue over the Orthodox Church, and again, he's tackled that this morning, and he's described the rift between the Orthodox and the Church of Rome as a huge problem, and one that they want to sort out. So I think the Vatican will feel that so far it has been a success.
Simon, thank you.